Commander Thelvar of the Arxian Coalition stared at the tactical display with three of his four eyes, the fourth monitoring life support systems that flickered between amber and red. His ship, the Celestial Harmony, had been a diplomatic vessel once elegant, unarmed, designed for peace. Now it was a tomb in waiting. Hull integrity at 32%, his navigator, Kisthan, reported, her crystalline voice cracking with static from a damaged vocalizer. The Krell destroyers are moving into formation for another strike. Mandibles clicked in frustration. The Krell had no honor, no respect for diplomatic immunity. When the Harmony had stumbled upon their illegal mining operation in the outer reaches, the insectoid raiders had opened fire without warning. Now, 3 Krell destroyers circled like predators, taking their time, enjoying the hunt. "Distress beacon?" Thelvar asked, though he already knew the answer. "Still broadcasting on all Coalition frequencies," Kisthan confirmed. "No response. We're too far from any patrol routes. Command estimates 47 hours until the nearest fleet can reach us." They didn't have 47 hours. They didn't have 47 minutes. The Krell warships were sleek biological things, grown rather than built, their hulls covered in chitinous armor that absorbed energy weapons with disturbing efficiency. Each was 3 times the size of the Harmony, and their weapons had already reduced the diplomatic vessel's shields to memory and its hull to a patchwork of sealed breaches. "Sir, they're charging weapons again," the tactical officer, a young Velen named Prith, announced. His fur had gone pale with fear, standing on end. Thelvar straightened in his command chair, a gesture of defiance even if no one would witness it. "Hold course. We won't give them the satisfaction of watching us run." The Krell lead destroyer, its hull pulsing with bioluminescent patterns that spelled mockery in their language, moved closer. Thelvar could see the plasma accelerators along its flanks beginning to glow, organic weapons designed to melt through starship hulls like acid through flesh. This was it. This was how the crew of the Celestial Harmony would die, not in diplomatic triumph or peaceful exploration, but hunted like prey in the void. Then reality tore open. It wasn't a conventional jump point or a wormhole aperture. Space itself seemed to scream as something massive punched through the fabric of existence, dragging with it electromagnetic chaos and gravitational ripples that sent every sensor on the bridge into screaming alarm. "What?" Kisthan began, but the words died in her throat. A ship emerged from the void. No ship was inadequate. This was a fortress, a titan, a declaration of industrial might made manifest. It was enormous, easily dwarfing all 3 Krell destroyers combined, its hull a geometry of hard angles and brutal functionality. Where Arxian ships curved with aesthetic grace and Krell vessels writhed with biological menace, this newcomer was pure, uncompromising aggression. Its armor was layered in overlapping plates of an unknown gray alloy, scarred and pitted from countless battles. Massive turrets bristled along its flanks, each housing weapons that looked like they could crack planets. "Identify that vessel," Thelvar ordered, his voice barely above a whisper. Prith's claws danced across his console. "Scanning, sir, the hull markings. They're in a language not in our database, but the ship's broadcasting an identification signal." He paused, his fur rippling with confusion. "It says it's the TRCS Indomitable Terran Republic 3rd Fleet." "Terran?" Kisthan echoed. "But they're restricted to their home system. The Council classified them as pre-contact, too primitive for—" "They don't look primitive," Thelvar interrupted. The Indomitable hung in space like a blade pressed to the universe's throat. Its arrival had frozen the Krell destroyers mid-attack, their formation breaking as they tried to assess this new threat. Thelvar didn't blame them. He was trying to do the same thing. A communication signal pierced through the Harmony's damaged systems, audio only, crackling with interference. When it spoke, the voice was deep, calm, and utterly terrifying in its confidence. Arxian vessel Celestial Harmony, this is Captain Sarah Chen of the Terran Republic combat ship Indomitable. We've received your distress call. Apologies for the delay, we were across the sector. A pause. Please maintain your current position. We'll handle the hostiles. Handle the? Thelvar's mandibles worked silently. 3 Krell destroyers, each a proven killing machine, and this human, spoke as if she were discussing a routine maintenance task. The Krell didn't wait to be handled. The lead destroyer opened fire, its plasma accelerators unleashing streams of superheated matter that could vaporize a cruiser's shields in seconds. The biological weapons struck the Indomitable's forward armor and splashed harmlessly across its hull. The human battleship didn't even slow, it simply advanced. Impossible, Prith breathed. Their armor, those are Class 5 plasma weapons. Krell destroyers, Captain Chen's voice returned, now broadcast on an open channel the raiders could hear. This is your only warning. Power down your weapons and prepare to be boarded or be destroyed. You have 30 seconds to comply. The Krell response was predictable. All 3 destroyers opened fire simultaneously, their combined firepower enough to overwhelm a coalition battle group. The void between the ships became a hellscape of superheated plasma and exotic radiation. The Indomitable activated its point defense systems. Thelvar had seen coalition defense grids before, elegant networks of interceptor drones and deflector shields. The human ship's approach was different. Hundreds of small turrets erupted across its hull, tracking with impossible speed, filling the space between the ships with kinetic rounds that moved at relativistic velocities. The plasma streams were shredded, dispersed, rendered harmless before they could touch the battleship's armor. Time's up, Captain Chen said simply. The Indomitable opened fire. Its main guns were railguns, Prith sensors determined, primitive by coalition standards, using electromagnetic force rather than exotic particles or directed energy. But there was nothing primitive about their effect. The tungsten slugs, each massing several tons and moving at a significant fraction of light speed, struck the lead Krell destroyer amidships. The biological hull, which had shrugged off the coalition's best weapons for years, simply ceased to exist. The destroyer folded in on itself, its internal structure flash vaporized by the kinetic impact, its reactor containment failing in a brilliant explosion that lit up the darkness. The second destroyer tried to flee, its biological engines pulsing as it attempted to jump to faster-than-light travel. The Indomitable's secondary batteries spoke, smaller railguns, but no less devastating. They targeted the destroyer's engine clusters with surgical precision, and the Krell ship's attempt to escape ended in a cascade of internal detonations. The third destroyer actually managed to return fire, its weapons finding a targeting solution on the human ship's port flank. The plasma struck home, and for a moment, Thelvar thought the Krell might have a chance. Then he saw the damage assessment. The Indomitable's armor was scorched. That was all, scorched. The human battleship rotated on its axis with a grace that belied its enormous mass, bringing a different weapons array to bear. These weren't railguns. They were missiles, thousands of them, launched in a coordinated swarm that covered the space between ships like a metallic plague. The Krell destroyer's point defenses were overwhelmed in seconds, and then the missiles struck, each one a shaped nuclear charge designed to punch through armor and detonate inside the target. When the light faded, there was nothing left of the third destroyer but expanding vapor. Silence filled the bridge of the Celestial Harmony. The entire engagement had lasted less than 2 minutes. Arxian vessel, Captain Chen's voice returned, now almost gentle. We're dispatching repair drones and a medical team. What's your status? Thelvar found his voice, though it trembled. We have casualties, hull breaches on decks 4 through 7, life support is failing. Captain Chen, thank you, we thought no help was coming. We heard you, the human replied. Humanity doesn't leave people to die in the dark. It's not who we are. As repair drones began swarming over the Harmony's damaged hull, and a human shuttle approached carrying emergency supplies, Thelvar stared at the Indomitable on his display. He thought about the Council's classification of humanity as primitive, confined to their home system for their own protection. He thought about the Krell destroyers, reduced to atomic vapor. He thought about Captain Chen's words, "It's not who we are." "Kiss then," he said quietly. "When we return to Coalition space, we need to file a report, a very detailed report." "About the Krell ambush, sir." "No," Thelvar's mandibles clicked in what might have been a smile. "About our catastrophic misunderstanding of the Terran Republic. The Council needs to know, humanity isn't primitive. They're just careful, and we should all be very grateful they've decided to be our friends." On the view screen, the Indomitable hung in space, a brutal monument to human engineering and determination. Its hull bore the scars of 100 battles, and Thelvar realized with a start that this ship, this impossibly powerful warship, was just one vessel from just one fleet. How many more were out there, he wondered, waiting in human space? He suspected the galaxy was about to find out. And he suspected that the universe would never be quite the same again.